Hello, guys. And if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. Today, our story from the user FIANCE, and it is called I, 30F, just got engaged, and my fiancé, 31M, his friend revealed to me that my fiancé only started dating me because of how similar I looked to his ex and planned to dump me after he felt like he moved on from her. How do I process this new information? Story. My fiancé, Marcus, proposed to me 2 weeks ago, and obviously from the title of this post, I said yes. We met during our 3rd year of law school at a bar that wasn't very far from our university's campus. It was meant to be just a one-night stand, but we decided to take things further in the morning and we started dating. Some semi-relevant information is that I'm South Asian, but I'm on the lighter side, so some people think I'm white until I say my name. And last night we had a small engagement party with both of our friend groups at our apartment. It was a fun night with us just drinking, shooting the shit, and recalling moments from when we first started officially dating. That is until Marcus's friend Brian pulled me to the side when everyone was starting to head home and we were cleaning up. Brian said he felt like there was something I should know before I get married to my fiancée. Brian confessed that Marcus told him when we first met that I looked almost identical to his high school sweetheart Sophie, who broke up with him shortly after graduating college. Apparently, my fiancé essentially did a double take once he first saw me because he thought I was Sophie. Marcus only wanted to date me so he could work his feelings for her out of his system. After that happened, Marcus would dump me and wipe his hands clean of the situation. One of the things that he said to Brian was that my race spoiled the fantasy a bit, but since I looked so pale, it was easier to pretend I was white like Sophie. Marcus did eventually legitimately fall for me and ditched his initial plan, but for the first 4 months of our relationship, he imagined that I was his ex. And Brian said that I can do whatever I wish with this information, but I should give serious thought as to whether Marcus and I should get married. He left after that, and I was left alone with Marcus in the apartment. Marcus went to bed after everyone was gone since he drank more than me. I stayed in the living room for hours just thinking over what Brian told me until I eventually went to our bedroom and got 3 hours of sleep in. I want to hope that Brian is just lying to stir up drama, but there's no reason for him to, considering it would hurt him more to lie and being caught doing so. Besides, I looked up pictures of Sophie on Instagram, and yep, we do essentially look identical. We both have short dark hair, round eyes, light skin, and a long nose. I've always wanted to try to grow my hair out, but Marcus always said he liked me with short hair better. I feel sick over that now, knowing what I know. Marcus just thinks my weird behavior is just because I have a headache. He's out right now to get ibuprofen from the drugstore and fast food for us. I haven't told him what Brian revealed to me yet. I just want some advice on how to deal with this because I'm totally lost right now. Update. I haven't at all gotten the vibe that Brian might have feelings for me. He has a girlfriend, but she wasn't at the party since she had to work. He's generally kind towards me and one of the first people who were told about the engagement. Comment 1 from user Haunted Bits and Bobs. Some people view marriage as the ultimate commitment, whether for its religious reasons or just because now you are legally bound to this person and getting out is no longer a relatively simple process. Maybe it's something about the looming speak now or forever, hold your peace, or because kids may be the next step. But I've known people who kept quiet until the engagement announcement and then decided they needed to get their concerns out. A lot of people don't feel like it's their place to say things about people's partners and relationships, but have a point when they feel like they just have to, or they'll regret it. In Brian's case, he might have been really bothered holding this in and just couldn't imagine himself watching them get married or even standing beside them and make vows in front of everyone they know with this secret weighing on him. For all we know, Brian has been telling Marcus to tell her the truth the whole time, but now it's finally clear that he won't be doing that. Brian feels like he needs to step up and tell her. I can understand how he might feel like telling her earlier would be like a betrayal of Marcus, but not telling her before they're married would be a betrayal to her, now that they've probably become friends. Comment 2 from user Risky Whiskey Business. Sorry, my reply is a bit long, but I feel I need to explain this because, depending on your background, this is not an experience you just have, so I don't expect you to just get it. I find people that have that expectation to be quite condescending. Upvoted your comment because I realize my previous comment seems unnecessarily aggressive to an outsider, but you asked the question instead of just telling me I'm being overly sensitive and a dick, which I might have been. While you're not wrong, and it's not a concrete thing, it's a vibe, and a perfect example of the old adage. It's not what you say, but how you say it. Granted that I have grown up around lots of South Asians from different walks of life, I've developed a sort of muscle memory in my brain for certain things. For example, if she had said something like, something else that bothered me was that, while his ex and I look very similar, I'm South Asian, and he mentioned to Brian that my race ruins his fantasy a bit, I'd think, oh wow, that's important context, and that's annoying. If she was more annoyed about the racism in his thoughts, she'd talk more about how that kind of racism is an issue for her. There are certainly more ways she could convey that context in passing, differently from my example, that would give you context without setting off a red flag, but she has a sentence paragraph dedicated to it. Instead of saying something like, I'm a light-skinned South Asian, she says, people think I'm white until I say my name. Then later, when she mentions her fiancé's casual racism, she again talks about how since she's pale, it's easy for him to pretend she's white. It feels like a weird flex, and not like hurt sentiments. If you take racism away from it, let's say, I ask you a question phrased like, hey, are you American? You might answer that by saying, no, European. Alternatively, you'd say, no, European, specifically British. If I ask you, hey, are you from the United States? You'd reply saying, no, I'm from the United Kingdom. In this case, both your answers are saying the same thing. However, if I ask you, hey, are you from the United States, and you answer by saying, no, European, it could still work. But the phrasing feels awkward. All this to say, the way she mentions it begs the question, and does not feel like this is context that'll help. I've rambled long enough and taken enough of your time. Comment 3 from user Bartlett for America. I have a friend called Dave. Dave has been with his partner now for several years, and they're in it for the long haul. But she only started talking to Dave on a dating app initially because she'd just had her heart broken by someone named Dave. That's it. Literally because she wanted to continue to be able to say his name. But then she got to know him and loved him, but most importantly of all, she was upfront about it with him. She also told us when we all went out to dinner to meet her. The frankness was refreshing, but the main thing was she owned it, and owned it early on. He was able to just laugh about it. I have no idea how he'd feel if she'd kept it from him, or if he learned about it several years in, but I imagine you're a bit freaked out and feel a bit icky. You need to chat with him about it up front, but never lose from the forefront of your mind the timing of Brian sharing this information with you. Why now? Why not early on? If he's always been kind to you, then the kindness would have been to let you make an informed decision much earlier on, not several years in and newly engaged. There seems to be ulterior motives to this, and your man needs to know that you know, and also who told you. Time for an uncomfortable conversation. Good luck. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe to the channel. See you again.